live? Oh, that was a horrible life choice. I see it. No. I still don't see it, Mickey.
Oh, I see it.
You see it?
Yep.
Good. Yeah, there we are. Cool. Let me mute myself. And then we can do introductions. Sin 200 star. Oh, to pin my comment. My comments don't need to be pinned. I'm not special.
I'm pinning my post here.
All right. Let's let some people come on in. What is it? What did you say? Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend?
Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a hater because they help us elevate too.
Oh, yeah. I love it when the haters tune in.
Don't worry, they try to tune in like on that fake pages and wait until it's over. But they always watch.
He really got 3 Red Bulls.
I haven't slept.
And he really gonna drink them too. And he really, like the last time we was on air, I told him, I said, you jump up on this table if you want to. I'm gonna shoot you.
I haven't slept.
That was me.
That was you. Can't blame that on me today.
See, I mute my shit before I go in. But no, I got 3 Red Bulls. Last time I had a Red Bull, some crazy coffee, and then a thermos of coffee. The time before that, I had 3 Red Bulls. All right, so we got viewers. We got things going on. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
We got Mr. El Presidente, Mr. Mike Clack from the school board here to answer some questions of imports.
Well, you spoke. Welcome everyone to the Truth Talk with Trevor.
I don't introduce my own show.
I know, but we're trying to get you in the habit of doing that. Truth Talk with Trevor.
Welcome to Trevor's Comedy Hour.
Trevor's rant.
Yeah.
You're supposed to say, I'm Trevor Berryhill, and this is my co-host, Wyntis Hall. And today we have with us President Mike Clack.
All right, let me try this. Hi, I'm Trevor Berryhill. You're on our noon talk show. This is my beautiful and talented co-host, Miss Wyntis Hall, and our awesome school board president, Mr. Mike Clack.
That's all you needed to do. You got it from there.
All right, cool. So, Mr. Clack, we've seen from, I know I'm not supposed to call you Mr. Clack. It's going to happen.
Okay.
We've seen from the outgo that you have, since taking over as president of the school board, you've had difficulties left and right. If it's not,
You said a few.
if it's not coming on from, say, other members of the board or past problems of the board, then it's problems that our students are having in the schools, our teachers are having educating our students, and there's a lot of budget issues. I think you guys are upside down like $7 million right now from the last board. Our teachers are having educating. I'm blaming you on that one.
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
So from the beginning, you knew what the school board is supposed to do.
Exactly.
And now that you are on the board, and not just on the board, you are running the board. You are the man with the gavel. What new complications are there that you didn't know about?
Well, one of the main complications is trying to figure out everybody's personality, and how to work with everyone and make sure everyone works together. That's one of the biggest hurdles that I have. A lot of, when we first got here on the board, we thought we knew what was going on, but there's a lot that we learned and are still learning as board members. You know what I mean? Like new board members, a lot of stuff that we didn't know, the behind the scenes, stuff like that is wow, it's heavy.
It's wild.
It's
right?
heavy. It's heavy. So, those are just a few. I could go on all day, but I'm not really a complainer.
No.
But there are some hurdles, and we knew that we were jumping into the fire, head first, not feet first.
Yeah.
So we knew that, and that's part of the reason why we went ahead and took that lead.
So everyone knows that the Flint schools are in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we really knew the kind of trouble, and you're experiencing that firsthand now. And I like to deep dive and then go further down the rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm.
I came across some stuff today, and you and I had been talking before you came on,
Mhm.
and I had mentioned that Michigan is in the bottom 50% of schools, and then Flint is in the bottom 50% of that. Then we refined it down to the bottom 25%.
Exactly. Yeah.
The numbers actually show even worse than that. We come into the bottom 1%. Our ranking from publicschoolranking.com,
I was going to ask you where you got the
is 849 out of 855
school districts
school districts
in the state of Michigan.
in the state of Michigan.
849 out of.
855.
Oh, okay. So
We are sixth from the bottom.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, that ain't good
No.
right there.
No. So now we all understand the uphill climb that we as a community, as parents, our students, our educators, our board, our superintendent, and the administration have to go through. And it just tumbles into a laundry list, right?
Mhm.
So we have, according to last, because everywhere I went, there's a difference of enrolled students month by month. And you see there's just a massive exodus, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I've taken one of my kids out of the public schools, and there's reasons behind that. Part of it's the culture in the schools. The teachers can't keep handle of our kids anymore.
Mhm.
We haven't given them the tools, and when they did have the tools, we took it away. You can't even even use a harsher tone of voice when giving constructive criticism anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
I mean, I'm as someone who's in the classroom every day.
Mhm.
That
no.
I mean, it's what I try to practice giving 4 positives and a negative. So for every negative, I try to build the scholar up with 4 different positives. But it's hard sometimes to deal with some of these students without raising your voice. Sometimes it's frustrating.
Mhm.
It really is frustrating sometimes because a lot of these kids come to school bearing all type of different issues from home. You know what I mean? And unless you develop a relationship with that child, you're not going to know. You're just going to think that they don't want to follow directions. Sometimes they're just acting out.
And sometimes, as an educator, you have to raise your voice, not in a mean way, just to catch attention.
Right, you got to
But
command the room too.
A lot of the time, someone in your position as an educator,
Mhm.
that comes back negatively on you, even if you're just trying to get attention. And our students have run away with that, it feels like.
To me, and I'm only speaking on for myself,
Mhm.
but over the years, I've developed pretty good relationship with my students' parents.
Yep.
Like I said, I give 4 positives and a negative, but the parents understand that when I'm disciplining, or when if I do have to discipline their child, that it's out of love and it's out of respect. It's not just because I'm one of those teachers that just want to go there and yell or just want to get a paycheck. So I believe that developing a relationship with the student and then the parent, they'll be more reluctant to get on you if you know what I mean. That's just my experience.
If we had an entire, just all of our teachers be a clone of you, my youngest would still be in public schools right now.
Well, here's the thing. My kids don't go to public school either.
Mm.
And the thing is, one of the reasons why I decided to run for this office or this seat, being on the school board, was because I believe that you shouldn't have to send your child to Powers to get a quality education. You know what I mean? Like, so if we can turn this district around, prime example, I remember when I was in the 1st grade, and there were some, I can't remember if they were Japanese or Chinese, but they were touring. I was at Walker. I went to Walker, and they were touring our school,
Mhm.
with the superintendent and with the building principal. I think his name was Mr. Lattimore at the time.
Okay.
And they were touring the schools because we were the top, we were the best public school system. We were this is what the example of public school system was. It was the Flint Community Schools. And, I don't remember what year that was. I was in the 1st grade, but, shortly after Walker was closed.
So about 20 years ago.
Yeah, about 20 years ago.
There we
We'll
go.
with that. But no, but realistically, it's probably about 30. I'm 40. I'll be 43. It's probably about 35, 36 years ago. 1st grade, 37 years, something like that.
Wow.
But I remember that, and I remember, they coming into our class, and And to go from that to what we have now, you know, just it's a night
Horribly
and day.
depressing.
It's very depressing.
I mean, so like I said, we have, according to today, the best I can find that goes down daily, 3,059 students enrolled in our schools currently. Over the past decade, that is down 66%.
It might be a little lower than that. It might be.
I mean,
I've heard 29 something. So
yeah.
I don't want to do too much correcting because obviously I don't have any of my, you know, paperwork here.
You know what? Before we go any deeper, because I've heard people say that someone on the board cannot speak for the board unless they have the president's permission. You are the president.
Mhm.
Are you speaking for the board, or are you speaking for just Mr. Michael Clack at this point in time?
At this point right now, I'm speaking as Mr. Michael Clack.
All right, let's get that out of the way so people aren't going to take things out of your
Right. Don't take
out of
anything that I'm
context.
saying out of context. If I answer a question and I would just like to speak as myself,
Yeah,
and as a citizen, as a citizen. Now, if you ask me a board related question, you know, then I'm, you know,
which
depending on what the
a lot of
question
this is going to be, but
I figured that.
even then,
I got a question.
Yeah.
I've been quiet.
yeah, that's been scary actually.
Right.
I was wondering what you're up to.
Because I'm just, I'm letting you guys flow and get out all of the fluffy stuff. So you say your kids don't go to the Flint schools.
Mhm.
Okay, so I think that should be a requirement for people to be on the Flint School Board. You got to send your kids to the Flint school districts because there's multiple people on there and kids don't go to the Flint schools. So how are you going to tell somebody to trust the Flint schools when y'all don't even trust the Flint schools?
That's a good question, and I don't want to, you know, speak as a hypocrite. You know what I mean? Because my daughter graduated from Powers, and my son does not go to a Flint school right now. But again, I would like to see that change. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'm not opposed to sending my son to a Flint school, but what I am opposed to is him not receiving a quality education.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And one of the things that I've learned as of recent is that the teachers in the district don't feel appreciated. You know, if anyone would like to feel appreciated when they do what they're doing, you know what I mean? Especially when you're teaching, when you're dealing with other people's kids. You know what I mean? So it's hard for I can understand why the morale of the district is so low when they feel like they're not appreciated. So if and that's just a spin off from the question about my kids going to public schools, but that's one of the barriers. That's one of the reasons. If the teachers don't feel appreciated, if they don't feel like they're needed or wanted, then why would they put their best foot forward?
How can they feel appreciated when they was asked to give them half their pay or 10% of their pay a few years ago and
I think it was like 19.
promised to get it back, and
we're working on that.
That almost sounds like a tax.
Yeah,
we're going to take money away from you, and when this project or crisis is done, we'll give it back, and it just doesn't come back.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it.
Teachers are like some of the most abused people I've seen. Like, even going back into pop culture references, Futurama of all damn cartoons, there was an episode where the gang had to vote on something, and they're all going to vote no, and Bender stands up and yells, "I'm going to vote it down like a race for school teachers." This has been an ongoing trend for decades.
Right.
We don't appreciate the people who have a passion to take care of our kids when we can't, or as parents, when we need to take a break. Please go to school, honey. I love you to death, but not today, right?
Absolutely.
If we aren't gonna pay these people the time of day, and all they're getting is a paycheck that honestly could be gotten just by going to McDonald's and working a little bit of overtime.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to feel appreciated? And then when the parents come in, my child's failing, or my child comes home this, that, the third, and it's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go home at night and just get up and ready for the next day? That would kill me.
I'm not gonna lie and say it's easy. I'm not gonna lie and say it's easy dealing with irate parents that but the reality of it is, and I don't like to be harsh,
mm-hmm.
but the reality of it is, teachers, for the most part, are expected to do a certain, the teachers are expected to do a certain job and stick to a certain plan, which is the curriculum. You know what I mean? But even before a child comes into the school,
have you guys updated the curriculum since 1960? I
Yes.
mean, when you got
Yeah, the
kids
kids-
graduating that
No.
don't know how to read, I mean, something's
Oh,
wrong with
that
it.
one's gonna go out.
That's why I try to be quiet.
No, you're good.
that's it's
I'm sorry.
that's part of the reason why I'm fighting so hard to get these early childhood programs back, because if a lot of the parents, the population in Flint read at a 7th, 8th grade reading level, and that's I'm talking about the adults here.
Right.
So if that is the case, and that is fact, and our reality that we live in, then they need some assistance. You know what I mean? And you can't expect for someone who can, hardly, how can I say this politically correctly? You can't
Someone
expect,
who's struggling to help someone else who's
right,
struggling.
right, and I say that very loosely because it works both ways. Because even with myself, and I'm sure you got kids too. I remember trying to help my daughter with her math.
Oh yeah, that's impossible.
You know what I mean? Like, and you fight with your child, like, well, this is how I learned how to do it. And
Right.
then you tell them, you take them to school, they send them off to school, and they, primary the long division. And
That's what
and you
we
take
on
it over
now,
here and
Mike.
carry the one, and then you bring it
Crazy.
down. But then when you send your child back to school with that long division that you learned in 1980,
They got it wrong.
it's all wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's always a learning experience when you're dealing with educated kids. So if you're dealing with and a largely uneducated population, it's hard to to go with that. You know what I mean? Especially when most of the help is gone.
I mean, and that's also a symptom of a citywide depression. Flint's been in a funk since late 80s.
Mhm.
And then it's just been one disaster after another. Emergency manager, the water crisis being ignored by our elected officials, and then promises made but not kept.
Right.
That gets you down.
Mhm.
And so when you're trying to work with your kid, or you don't really feel motivated to it, or you don't really feel motivated as a kid because you feel the system's just going to let you down. Or as an adult, you don't feel like furthering your education or bettering yourself because you just feel that it's for nothing.
Mhm.
That is a major issue. And so we keep on starting, but we
I see
keep
you
getting
just whipped out a whole bunch of
sidetracked.
papers, man. What is all that, Trevor?
This is your budget. This is for 2021. It is the best that I have at the moment.
Okay.
That's y'all one-page budget.
Well, that's his two-page
Two-page.
budget because it's 2021.
2 pages. Oh,
Yeah,
you
if I
guys
can
have
find it.
gotten better.
Oh, no,
Okay.
here's 2023.
Look,
Here's your
back-
one page.
Oh, that's back to the one page.
Okay.
That is what is on your website. And speaking about what's on your website, there's something that isn't on there that's driving me nuts, and that's the FOIA form. And I know that's not something that's directly controlled by you, but that is something to put out there so these folks know. When you fill out a FOIA for the Flint Public Schools, you can still fill it out. There's a generalized blanket sheet, and it says to title, you erase that, put it in. It's a plug and play that you have to submit, which I'm in the process of 3 or 4 right now because there's so many things. So your athletics department right there, actually, you see that's been chopped up.
Do we even have a school team?
Yes, we do.
Oh,
Yeah,
one,
we got-
right? It's
We
one.
got football, basketball.
But they have no city rival because we
There's
don't
no-
have, we only got one high school.
Right.
And how many elementary schools do we have?
8 or 9.
8 or 9. And how many of those schools are on the north side, those elementary schools?
Open.
Yeah, open that kids can go in and learn and have a good lunch.
Outside of Doyle Ryder, if you consider that north
North side.
or Durant Terry Mott, which is not necessarily north.
Yeah, no, that's around the corner for me. I'm pretty central Flint.
Yeah, so no public Flint community schools.
Wow, none on the north side.
So
No.
Bunch, Brunel.
Brownell and Holmes.
Yeah, Brunel and Holmes.
Brownell and Holmes are the
Excuse
only
me,
schools
Brownell
on the
and
north side. Okay.
okay, so you see your athletics budget there, And we've already talked a little bit about how it's hard to teach our students here.
Mhm.
There's really only 3 ways to get out of the situation. Number one, you excel academically, which we're going to get into. We're struggling. I mean, we've already talked about our school ranking.
Mhm.
Number
District
2
ranking.
is, district ranking.
Mhm.
Number 2 is the military, which we're going to go into another
Right.
roadblock there. And number 3 is athletics. And with an athletics program, if you would just read us the total number in that column.
Okay.
It should be on
So,
your far right hand side.
Yeah, it is. I'll just go all the way over from fiscal year 19 to 20. The athletics budget was $197,510, and 2021 the athletic budget is $275,579. So that's the difference of 78, almost $80,000.
Yep. And then when we get to 23, we get right here, 250.
253,000. Wait, $253,243.
And that's including our general fund that comes from our taxes and, that's state, federal,
And
And-
grant.
and grants.
Okay.
So how are our students, if we are having problems teaching them, if we are basically actively blocking them from going military service, and we are cutting them off at the knees when it comes to our athletics, how are they supposed to advance? And I know that's not really a question you can answer,
Right.
but it is something that I think we should all be aware of, that our kids are really getting drop kicked here.
Well, not to cut you off,
No, you
but
really
here's
should.
one of the things that I've noticed, and I think I can't be the only one that's noticed this.
No, probably not.
We as a county have allowed a new kiddie jail before we get a new kiddie school.
Right. You
Yeah.
talk about out there on Pasadena.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
We allowed a new jail for our youth before we allowed a new school to be built.
I mean,
So
It's
that should
almost
let you
like
know
we,
the focus of who's in charge. There's not a focus of educating and there's a focus of making money off of the judicial system. You know what I mean? Like that's it's to me that's sickening.
Yes.
Like
it's almost like they don't want our kids to leave. They just want them to go into
Uh-huh.
a different type of government building, we'll
Mhm.
say.
there's liquor stores everywhere. There's dispensaries popping up everywhere.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to sound like a hater. Get your money. But as a city, it just seems like the agenda is to keep us drunk and high and uneducated. You know what I mean? And get in the car and drive, and there's a state trooper waiting for you somewhere. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
it's just
I mean,
But that's the type of stuff that I feel like our schools should prepare our kids for, like real life skills. Like
well,
once you learn the basics, we need to move on. It's not 1962 anymore.
Mhm.
I feel like our kids are at a big disadvantage here in Flint.
Mhm.
Because if you take a Flint student right now out and put them in Grand Blanc, they don't know what the hell they're doing. But if you take a Grand Blanc student out and put them in a Flint school, they probably 2 or 3 grades ahead of what they're being taught in that classroom.
so
I don't want to.
I'm just telling you, I know you probably can't agree, but I'm just giving you my opinion
Mhm.
of what I see and what I know.
So we've lost 66% of our students from our general funds into basic programs. You'll see on that paper there. Basic programs, it should be the second column or third column going from top to bottom. It's going to be, sorry, by column I mean group, basic programs, right there. We've got a total allocation of $21,363,184.
Mhm.
That's actually not bad. That's from grants and our general funds. That comes out to about $6,983.71 for basic programs per student. Now, when we do overall expenditure per student, and that's everything there, that's including teachers, that's including, whatever property, utilities, everything, right? We're at about $25,000 per student. That's a huge sum.
Did you include the ESSER money too?
Oh,
That
the
goes in
ESSER
through
money,
grants,
I
yes.
heard about that. That's like Easter money because they said it's for us.
Yeah, so, the ESSER money, I think, if you divide that down, I think it raises up to about 49,000 per child.
But
So-
y'all giving the ESSER money to us, right?
Who?
To the public. They said they come and fill out a proposal.
Why would we do that? The ESSER money is for the students.
Yeah, that's for my kids. We can
Yeah.
keep our damn dirty hands off.
Oh, well, the board, y'all need to get it together because some board members are asking people to come and submit proposals for the ESSER money.
Yeah, I know.
Now that needs to go toward updating textbooks. That needs to go toward updating our buildings. But when it comes down to
Trevor got a script. I got to stick with.
no, it's not a script.
No.
It's just I've been on the same point for a minute.
Okay.
But it comes on down to $25,000 there and about without ESSER money. That's actually higher than the state average per student. State average per student is $14,000,
We got a lot of money here.
and yet it feels like it's not going to the right places if our schools are going through this much of a problem.
Well, from, by, not making any excuses or
No, I mean
or not copping no pleas, as I would say if I was in the hood.
the
But-
gentleman.
but-
You've only been on the board for 2 months.
Right. So
What can you have done?
So
You know?
that's and I'm not making an excuse, but that's just something that I just can't tell you as of right now. You know what I mean? Like the previous board allocated the first two disbursements of the ESSER funds. You know what I mean? So that was already done before we.
Yeah, you
took
can't go
office.
back in
So we
time. You can't pull
so
that back
all that
out.
stuff has been done already. So there are a few things that we have to vote on and to discuss. Of course, I'm not at liberty to say that now, but
Right.
that's pretty much all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take you a while to get there, a while to go through, and then a while to start setting things on what I hope is the right track. So far, I have not regretted my vote for you.
I appreciate it, man. Like I said, when like I told you and everyone else, I will not let you down. Again, I'm only one person though. And I hope that the public sees where my heart really is. You know what I mean? There's no hidden agendas here.
You need to drink some more Red Bulls. This is too fluffy for me today.
Well, let's get
Listen,
into it.
I got a question from the audience.
What's up?
Is it true that a large percentage of Flint sophomore students are reading at a third grade reading level of this is indeed a fact? How long has this been the case? And what's being done to address these remedial scores?
I don't necessarily think that the sophomores read at a third grade level. I think that they take
I
information.
think it's fourth grade.
Okay. Well, I think that a lot of the data that is taken for certain standardized testing and for certain programs, they use third grade testing scores. So I don't want to say that our sophomores read at a third grade level, or fourth grade level. I don't want to say that. But there is a good percentage of kids that are not reading at grade level though.
Mhm.
That's why we have the MD partnership.
So what we can hit on this is recently, as in this month, Chicago came out and said that 50 of its schools are at a 0% proficiency. That's horrifying to me. That should be horrifying to everyone.
Yeah.
Right.
Every damn man, woman, or child anywhere. Flint is at a 10% proficiency in math and reading.
Yeah.
So that's not saying grade levels. That's not saying this grade should be reading here. This is just saying that that we only have 10% that are meeting the standards set by the state.
Now this is for you.
Oh
Because
God.
this is your world. Derek Smart, when you have no property tax coming in or big investment like GM, the schools lose out because of the population decline. And he goes on to say that until you bring in big investment into Flint, the school district will get worse. He said, don't y'all know Flint Truck and Bus pays for Carmen Ainsworth School District? That's why they perform better in academic because of GM investments.
I'd say he's right, but at the
I'd
same
say
time,
that's part of the reason. That can't be 100% of the reason.
at the same time, we're still spending more than the average of other districts throughout the rest of the state, even without GM investing in us.
Right.
This is a decades-long problem that might have started with GM. We've got the money problem solved, at least money spent per student. Now it's just a matter of making sure that money goes to the right place, which is why elections have consequences.
Mhm.
We've got 3 people that I voted for on that board right now that I'm super comfortable with.
Who?
We got Mr. Luna, Mr. King, and the man right
Because
here.
you know, I gotta.
She's got-
I gotta
she's-
keep it
she's got-
real.
She's got to get drama.
Yeah.
But no, it's Mr. Luna, Mr. King, and Mr. Clack. Or was it Mr. King? Actually,
He's the .5.
either way.
Okay. I'm just saying.
So I've got 3 people there that I'm comfortable with. We've got a couple swing votes that go left or right, and we can start to see a turnaround. In my wildest dreams,
Yeah. Well, Jasmine Stanley said, I know your name's not Stanley, but I know you're Jasmine Stanley. She said, don't forget the loss of learning during COVID.
That's
So she said that's a huge issue that we aren't directly addressing.
Here's the thing about the COVID thing. As an educator, it made parents realize how difficult it is to teach 20 kids, let alone their one. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, there were parents that would call them like, when y'all coming back to school? Like they really, some parents were really frustrated with having their kids home every day for a year, year and a half. But what it did was it brought, it opened up some eyes. You know what I mean? It opened up some eyes. You know what I mean? Like parents now realize that, a lot of parents do realize that, teachers go through a lot. But then again, that goes back to the point that I raised earlier. We live in a highly, I don't want to keep on, but the fact is that, Flint is not the highest educated of cities. You know what I mean? So again, putting that responsibility back on parents, expecting them to.
Well, there are 5 parties here responsible.
Keep blaming the parents.
I'm not blaming anyone. I'm not blaming the parent. I'm just saying, like, the situation brought forth a whole lot of situations. You know what I mean?
And Tony Wiggins said your answer sucked.
That's
When he asked you about how you going to address the remedial scores and the teachers, like, you got to hold these teachers accountable.
Of course we do. But then if we don't have, if most of our teachers are not certified teachers, if we got a high percentage of long-term subs or guest teachers that aren't certified in a specific subject, then you got to expect certain outcomes.
You got to change that.
Right, but how do we bring teachers in if we don't have teachers that already want to be here?
And then we've already got a reputation, so it's hard to bring them in.
It's hard to recruit. It's hard to recruit. We got a college right downtown.
Yeah, got a couple of them.
You know what I mean? So, I apologize, Mr. Wiggins, but it's a lot of different barriers into, you know what I mean, I would love to do a very progressive hiring process. You know what I mean? But then again, we got to worry about keeping the teachers that we have happy already. You know what I mean? Like we got to worry about righting their wrongs with them. They need to be made whole as well. You know what I mean? So
Clack, I'm looking for.
So no, I mean, I'm just saying I wasn't trying to, give a fluffy answer, but at the end of the day, there's just so many different hurdles that we have to jump over. You know what I mean?
Putting it all on teachers is bullshit anyway. It really is. It's not just on the teachers. Yes, they are the front line. They're the ones that are reading to our kids, teaching our kids to read, how to do math. But we also have a school board. We have a superintendent that are supposed to help direct the programs, direct the curriculum. We have students themselves that need to show up wanting to learn. And that starts at home with the parents, just encouraging the child to learn. And how about bringing some self-confidence to them to raise their hand and ask a question instead of keep their head down. There are 5 parties involved, and just dropping it on one is fucking bullshit.
I don't believe that any particular, entity should, get all of 100% of the blame. There's a lot of different variables that we have here working against us. You know what I mean? There's a lot of different variables. So, again, Mr. Wiggins, I apologize for the fluffy answer, but there's a whole lot going on here.
Apologize so he could.
So, well, let's go into one of the other ways that our students get out of the situation that they find themselves in living in Flint, a rather impoverished city. Most of us are under the poverty line,
right,
and we feel ignored, which is military.
Mm-hmm.
We have over 30% of 28 as of 2020. It climbs up. I saw Mr. Woodson put on there 30%, which is pretty general, but we know it's fairly high. It's around 1 in every 3 kids are on an individual education plan or special education.
Mhm.
Now, what a lot of folks don't know who haven't served, you know, because you went through training that teaches you about this, is until this year, certain branches of the military would not touch you if you had one of those.
Exactly.
Wow.
Or the
ADHD,
504 plan.
yeah,
Mhm.
like ADHD, depression, hell, so many kids are diagnosing as autistic, and schools are taking them up seriously on it in some cases. In other cases, it's just, oh, well, this student's having a problem learning, let's put them on an IEP. And it bars them from really the last resort for a lot of people, which is
The
military.
military, right?
And then some jobs in the military will not touch you. You want to be an aircraft technician? Good luck. You want to be a nuke technician? Good luck.
Right.
So then you're a ground pounder like I was. What's on the outside world for that? You're going to be a security guard. You're going to be flipping burgers. Cops don't even want us.
Well, here's the thing about the flipping burgers thing, because you can't even depend on that anymore.
No.
Even when you go to McDonald's sometimes, like there used to be somebody there to take your order. Now you can order from a kiosk, or you can order from the website. You know what I mean?
So when my order gets screwed up, I'm the only one to blame.
Right. So it's not even, when we were in high school, that was a lot of people's first job was to go to McDonald's and get that job. You know what I mean? Now that's not even a guarantee anymore.
No.
So it's getting to the point to where we're getting slim pickings now.
Yeah. So when you're cut out from that, I mean, because the Navy is one of my favorite examples of this.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to become an expert, a standalone expert in something, you join the Navy for it. Because aboard a ship, there's only so much damn space. And this is the only time you damn sailors will ever hear me say anything positive about you. You better record it.
You went to the Army. Like, I thought y'all had a little rivalry there.
We do. But there's only so much room aboard a ship. In the Army, I've got all the land in the universe, whatever country we've invaded this week, I've got one dude to hold the screw. I've got one dude to hold the screwdriver, one dude to turn it, one dude to tell him which way to turn it. The Navy, that's all one guy. Right? And when you're being blocked out from that, that is because the Navy don't have ground pounders. They've got technicians.
I know nothing about that. But when you're talking about like the Navy teaches you, they give you like what, better skills?
Yes, because you have to be an absolute subject matter expert to work on that system.
So when you talk about getting skills from outside of the classroom, got another statement by Mr. Wiggins here. He says a great deal of Flint students get their best education curriculum from the new program from the county jail, Ignite, right. They're educating Flint students, he said, as adults. It's sad, but
they've got Ignite is a pretty good is a really good program. I took a tour over to the jail with Sheriff Swanson and Janelle, and they were like, I actually put the virtual reality glasses on and was doing the welding and was doing there's a couple different programs that they can cool. Yeah, it was cool.
That's pretty effed up.
I mean, that is fucked up.
But
I wholeheartedly agree, but just having virtual reality, like
they got virtual reality programs in jail for the people to learn.
Yes.
But we don't have updated textbooks at school.
At the end of the day, learning is learning. Now, if you get your learning in the jail or at a school or online or however it is, I'm all for it.
I'm glad you said that because ex-school board member Miss Linda Goose on here. Hey, Auntie. She said most parents do not have the school and the skill and knowledge to teach their kids, and learning should not just be conducted in the classroom only. They must study outside the classroom, tutoring.
Yes, that's another thing that I'm thankful for my parents because both of my parents started off in education. There's a lot of times in the summertime when everybody else was outside playing. I was in doing book reports, like I was reading encyclopedias and stuff.
Nerd.
Like that. So like at the time I hated it. I was the uncool kid that had to study and do that in the summertime. But now I see what they were doing and I see the benefits of having to do stuff like that. You know what I mean? And I follow that same tradition with my kids.
I mean,
it is true that you cannot get all of your learning in the classroom at school.
That is
that's
100% true.
it is not possible to be a well-rounded everything, just learning at school. It's not possible.
But the counterpoint to that, which isn't really even a counterpoint, but is an offset, is parents don't have to be fully equipped to teach students the curriculum of the school. My dad was a high school dropout. My dad taught me algebra. Hell, he tried to teach me Boolean algebra, which that's fun if you ever want to manually crank a computer to program. The man taught me chemistry, and he gave me confidence just by being around. You don't have to be the smartest person in the world to teach your kids something that you know. And even if you're not just teaching them, if you're just involved in their lives, it goes a hell of a lot further than just saying the schools don't do enough.
Well, I think my opinion is before you can even help the children, help the teachers, the school board is fucked up. You got
I can hear you. I'm sitting right here.
We brought you here to insult you, sir.
I'm sitting right here.
I know, but I gotta keep it. No, that's me. You know me. I can't be fluffy.
No, I understand.
I tried, but the school board is totally fucked up. You got people on there that, like Chris Del Moroni asked Joyce McNeil one time, like, what are you saying? I don't know what you're saying.
Are we trying to pronounce Acre?
I mean, Acre, whatever she can't talk. So how can you, first of all, what kind of doctor are you? And how are you going to, you can't teach our kids. No, this is not the future right here. Joyce McNeil is not the future. Them people that I see on there, some of them people on that school board, I'm like, what? Where did they come from? Claudia is not the future. She's not the future.
She's the girl.
Name is involved. I mean, so what do you do when you got people sitting at the table fighting against you? You can't even get to the kids if they fighting against you.
It's one of the things is, I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say it's easy.
No.
I'm not gonna lie and say it's easy dealing with. Like I said, I made the point with dealing with different personalities, and that was a nice way of putting, what I'm about to say.
Some complicated shit.
Right. So, we do have some obstructionists to, we have some, a few board members that would like to, do things the old way, and again, this is not that.
Well, let's show an example of the old way.
Yeah. There should, and this, no, you're good. This is a new board, and again, I will echo what I said. We work on transparency and accountability. Now, I'm not perfect and I've made some mistakes. I'm sure I'm going to make a whole lot more, but
you might make good mistakes.
And hopefully that they would be good mistakes. I don't plan on doing anything maliciously or, that's just not me. I don't have to worry about keeping up with a lie, because
I can
everything
deal with someone that is honest with their mistakes, owns up to them, and tries to fix them, rather than blames it on someone else or just says it never happened.
Right. No, and I got people like you that are gonna come and fact check me, So, and I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Like it keeps me and it keeps us, on our toes and going in the right direction.
That's only if you choose to listen, though. I mean, some of these people have been lambasted by people far more important than me, and they still keep trucking on. I've been on this board for so many years, and I'm just waiting till the day you slam that gavel and say, you've been doing it fucking wrong for so many years.
There you go.
But
pop another one of them Red Bulls. Let's get this going.
But I know Mr. Clack won't do that. Why? Because he's a class act. He's not me.
I might be thinking something along those lines, but I'm not gonna.
Like, if it were me, when they were disrespecting you that night, that woman goes, bullshit. This is bullshit.
Yeah,
I would have thrown that table.
Here go my Trevor. Drink up, baby. Keep drinking. She said this is absolute bullshit. Y'all didn't put her out. Y'all didn't say nothing.
Well, someone did.
I gave her 2 warnings.
Yeah, because I was sitting there like that man in the color purple. You gonna let that lady talk
But
to you
again,
like that
if
if you the head of your table, boy?
Yeah, but you see how I was a little bit like I think I was the only one that heard her. Well, I wasn't the only one. But
I mean, you two heard her, and you guys have some really shitty audio on your YouTube channel.
We're working on that too.
I mean,
so
that's a side thing.
Yeah,
but like we heard her. I'm surprised your fellow board members didn't say a damn thing.
They heard her. Joyce lied, said, no,
Yeah,
I didn't hear it. She didn't cuss. No, I didn't hear her cuss. She said it.
She did say that.
I like in case Joyce did. Joyce, if you listening, go to my page. Well, you got to unblock me first. Then go to my page because I broke it down where she said this is absolute bullshit. And he said, did you just cuss? Did you just curse? And did y'all hear her just curse? No, Mr. President, I ain't here saying nothing.
Yeah, like that kind of disrespect to me, I would have thrown the table, thrown the meeting, and said, get the fuck out. But this is why it is good that I'm not on the school board, because nothing get done. Like, we need someone with a level head.
But if he would have did it, they would have thrown your ass out. I bet you.
Of course. Again, and again, this is me.
And then the police probably would have taken you out of there. Angry man.
And this is the reality of why I act the way I do. This is big black man, white woman.
Oh yeah,
so
okay. You don't want a PPO.
Not even that. I just don't want to be the
big black man
attacking. You know what I mean?
The white woman,
or not even the white one, the older woman.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because the Golden Girls.
Right. So my reality is, yes, I have to keep the meeting going in the right direction.
Right.
But the optics of it is, just like that lady came up there and said, I'm bullying this side of the room.
And that's terrible optics, because if you do lose your cool, what is it that you do that isn't being a teacher or being on the school board? You run a nonprofit, right?
Yeah.
What does that do?
We our mission is to give assistance to victims of domestic violence and sexual abuse.
So a man getting angry, bullying a woman, how does that make your nonprofit look? How does that impact the help that you're giving these young women? You've got so many pans on the stove right here.
So you can kind of see why.
Yeah, it would just screw you over so many different ways.
Just the accusation itself, and it's, it's 1 or 2 conversations with a certain board member have gone in that direction. So I choose how to speak and the method in which we communicate, because I'm just not going to be, that's not gonna. I'm not gonna be that person.
No.
Not doing that.
Are we offending you by cussing because someone just said that they wouldn't come on our? Woodrow Green said he wouldn't come on our show because we're cussing. We need to respect you. They didn't respect him at the school board meeting when they was cussing. So why we gonna sit here? The school board member told him it was absolute bullshit. So Woodrow, correct the school board. If you're gonna correct the podcasters, correct the people that sit at the table with him that's trying to teach your children to elevate them. Okay, I just had to get that in there.
And he just, Mr. Green, he just looking out. So he didn't mean anything.
I know Woodrow didn't mean nothing like that, but I'm just saying.
No, I mean, you're a public figure, and I'm just some dude who sits in front of a mic and a camera, and Miss Wyntis, she's comfortable as hell. She knows who she is.
But cut me off in traffic and see if I'm listening. Well, cut me off in traffic.
Right.
So, I'm everybody. I'm human, so.
Right. So, speaking of conflicting personalities, I heard something from Mr. Luna at that meeting. You have board members who go into committee meetings, and then if they don't like the way the meeting is going, or if they don't like the vote that is coming up, they get up and take their happy ass to their car. So it breaks quorum.
That's not exactly how that played out.
Okay, correct me.
Because I wasn't there either. I was with my dad at a doctor's appointment, so everyone knew that I was going to be late.
Mm-hmm.
From what I got from the board members that were present at that meeting, is that there were certain board members that stayed in the parking lot. They didn't get out of their cars.
So they didn't even get up. They just said no.
Right.
Wow, that's even worse.
So, you know, again, I was not there. You know, I was coming late, but
That's disrespectful. But again, I go back to the question of you can't help the students when y'all fighting each other.
and again, that's what makes it so frustrating is because it shouldn't be a fight amongst board members. If everybody has the focus of the district or the scholars in their
But they
mind,
don't.
of course. So, and that's what I want without me saying so. I would like for the public to notice what's going on here.
We do. The
So,
public is that we're
I mean,
seeing.
we've got a lot going on here, right? But when you have these obstructionists like that, how does anything get past the committee up to the actual board meeting, if anything? Or does it just deadlock and then you guys stare at each other for 5 minutes?
a lot does fall off, but then there's still certain things that, you know, a lot just make it through. You know what I mean?
So can a motion be brought by just another member who says, hey, this didn't happen because we didn't have quorum. Can we talk about it here and now?
That was
and
I
apologize
believe,
to vote?
if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was a governance meeting. I might be mistaken. That was a governance, I believe, but I could be mistaken.
But can
The
they bring
thing
it up
is-
to the main board meeting to try to get it?
A
At
motion
least talk
can be,
about that.
a motion, you know, a motion can be made, yeah. But the thing is, those certain board members have been taken off of certain committees, so they can't really be obstructionists like that anymore.
Okay. I mean, if they're going to be just basically soaking up, I would say a paycheck, but you guys don't even get that really.
It's not really.
They're just soaking up time and space. I guess we can call them singularities.
And again, let me just say, because the move was not to just go out and be the, you know, the president that's just kicking people out of the, you know, there's subcommittee roles. That's not what it was. But certain things were done that forced my hand in that direction. You know, our hand in that direction. Certain things
Anyone
were.
who's paid attention, who actually watched you from the moment you were sworn in, watched you through all these meetings, has seen that you have tried to bring compassion and understanding to your board members.
I hope that's what people can see, but that's not always.
Many of them throw it back in your face.
So
You're just trying to get the business of the district done, right?
I got two people on here saying the same thing.
what they're saying.
Arthur Woodson and Linda Booth. Arthur said, how can the same two people be voted out of their positions by two different boards? I keep saying ain't Linda. Miss Linda Booth says same practice and disrespect different board members. Your response. Do you have a response? Or you rather pass?
I'm
get 3 passes.
I'm not copping, please. I'm gonna answer. That's disturbing. You know, all I can say is we're trying. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a disrespectful person, and there's, without me saying so much, there were certain comments made before we even were sworn in, that led me to believe that this was going to be a divided board, that we were not going to be unified. As hard as I tried, and this is before I even thought about being a president.
Because the tea was, let me tell you, y'all know I come with the tea, allegedly. It was said, yeah, you may want to get some water, refresh yourself, because I'm going to spill the tea.
Should I just start making tea in the office for you to spill?
No, no, you don't spill.
She don't like Earl Grey. Okay.
But look, so the tea was that the mayor, Sheldon Neely, said that you weren't supposed to get any positions. It was you and somebody else, but I can't remember the other person. But Clack is not supposed to get any positions. And matter of fact, the night that they took that they had elected the meetings, him and the state rep was there. Now, mind you, she couldn't show up to none of y'all damn state rep, forums. But she was there that night in the school board meeting with her husband, the mayor, watching this vote. And so what was so surprising to the viewing and listening audience was that Claudia was the one who nominated you.
Yeah.
Now that was weird.
It was.
Because you was with a whole nother different slate, but then you was also kind of independent.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot
Did you hear them? Did you hear that T2 out there in the street? You wasn't supposed to get nothing.
I didn't hear it until after.
Okay.
I didn't hear
But
it.
you heard it though.
I did hear it.
Okay.
I did. I didn't even know what to think. You know what I mean? Honestly, I didn't even know what to think. It was like, why? What possibly could I have done to you for you to spend all this time and energy to keep me from getting a certain position that obviously didn't work, but I couldn't believe it. And it's not, and I knew it was true because the first time when I first heard it, I'm like, I don't really know about you. The source of which it even got back to me.
Right.
The second time it was like, wait a minute. The third time it was like, wait a minute. I know if you telling me, then I know this is real.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then when it just all came out, it was like I was just flabbergasted. I never used that word, but it's just I don't even know what I could say that made me, I couldn't believe it. Like, I'm like, I've done nothing. And again,
maybe it's just me, right? Maybe it's just me because I'm paranoid and I'm old and I'm bitchy. It almost feels like setting you up for something to fail and it'd be under your watch.
That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. I
feel like that too.
That's exactly
I'm
what
glad
it was.
you said that.
I mean,
setting him up to fail.
This is, and I feel like I can just talk comfortably. This is Michael Clack talking. This is what I believe. I believe that I was nominated. I'm not gonna say it was a setup, but it wasn't out of
belief in your abilities.
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. A genuine nomination.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, I don't.
Oh.
I mean,
no, I don't.
A setup to make you look bad, like, oh, look at this guy. He's
no, not even that.
Either he gets it and they do something to make him fail, or the other part is nominate, don't get the votes, and
because they see how what, and here like here we go, like Woodrow Green, like we don't argue because Woodrow's still watching. That's my homie. Listen, he said a great point. You got 10,000 votes, Michael Clack.
11,
Woodrow.
Give him my 1K, Mr.
Give him his another 1,000, but you got 11,000 votes. You got more than what all of them put together, and so you a threat.
I hate
you
to ask
young,
this to
successful, intelligent black man.
I hate to ask this
again. We can be political adversaries, which I don't even know why we would be that, but because I've never run against the mayor. I've never had any interactions, personal interactions with the mayor. I did.
But
I ran
did you
against
support the mayor?
No.
Okay, so we know that petty.
You are a public figure. If you don't support him, he's one of those absolutists. If you're not with me, you're against me.
Oh, Petty Peter being upset.
At the end of the day, why do we have to be enemies just because we don't agree politically?
You don't have to be.
Because that's how small-minded and petty that your mayor is. And I'm going to say it.
You know what?
It's not my show. This is not my show. Trevor got a whole script. Okay, let me
it isn't even a script. There are just some points I wanted to hit. But this is about Mr. Clack and the school board. It's not about the golf caddy. It's not about the state rep showing up, possibly looking at adult education so she can read. It's about Mr. Clack. I'm sorry, man. It's about Mr. Clack, the board, the schools, and our kids.
It all ties in together to politics, though.
I mean, it does. It does. I mean,
you can't get out of it. It all ties in
these
together.
Groups,
money.
All these people that we've seen in certain positions lately, whether it be Perkins, whether it be Del Rico, whether it be any of these folks, they've all held other positions before, and it kind of links in together. You make friends, you make buddies.
No, tell me what position Claudia held before.
Oh, no, she hasn't held, but she ran for. She ran for.
You can't even name them all. That's okay, baby.
Yeah.
I could name a few. I'm not, but I know.
Please don't.
I'm looking like I'm waiting for my
all right, but you still make friends in those processes. You still make political alliances, and that's how that tied in. At least in my opinion, she made a political alliance somewhere along the line, held on to it, and now she's on the opposite side of him because someone doesn't like him.
Yeah. That's just
I mean-
the mayor.
Mayor, hell, there's probably a lot of more people than just the mayor. Let's
I'm-
face
I'm
it, this
sure there
man
are too.
brought himself up. I mean, yeah, there's the name Clack. Let's acknowledge that.
Mhm.
I don't recall reading anything about your mother or father stepping up and saying, "This is my son," and basically pushing you across that line
You won't, because that's not the direction.
because
I
you're a
want. That's not
self-made
what-
man.
I didn't want to do that.
So
Well, you know what?
when a
I'm
man
just
can make himself and bring himself up to prosperity or notoriety, who also has a name behind him that he didn't use, that's a fucking threat no matter where you look.
Let me correct myself, because I did, when I ran for county commissioner, I did have my mom do a voiceover on a commercial that I made.
Right, because she's former county commissioner.
Yeah, so I never really wanted to be that. I'm just doing this because of my mom and dad. Anybody
Right.
that knows me knows that's, I hate that. I hate when people say that.
I don't want to be their little shadow.
Right,
wanna
but
be
here's
on
the,
first.
the
You
here's
don't want to
the,
be the dead horse people
Right,
pull across.
but I can't get away from that. I do cherish that,
Mhm.
but I want people to understand that I'm my own person.
Mhm.
And I'm not here on the, I'm not here just on the backs of my parents. And I've worked hard to get to where I am.
Mhm.
I would say that 11,000 votes shows that.
And I'd like to also say that my last name had a lot to do with that too, which I was, my parents did that. So again, I acknowledge that, but I don't want to just for people just to say, yeah, that's Floyd and Brenda's son, but he did this, and this. You know what I mean? I'm never gonna get away from being Floyd and Brenda's son, and I recognize that. But
I mean,
the other stuff is, Mike Clack did this.
I met you and heard of you through you. I knew nothing of your parents the first time I met you. First time anyone spoke to me about you. It was, yeah, this is Mike Clack. He does this. Oh, yeah, he also runs a nonprofit. Oh, yeah, he also has a motorcycle. Oh, yeah. There was no mention of your parents to me.
Well, here's the caveat to that. You're not from here, though.
That is very fucking true.
And we're in the same age group. Now, if you were a little bit older, the difference would have been, what, if Brenda got a son? You know what I'm saying? Like I got that a lot when I was running for, for state rep. It was like, my name is Michael Clack, and I know what Clack. Yeah, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do.
I'm sure.
And then, it's like, Floyd and Brenda, you ain't Floyd.
See, people vote off of name
Name
recognition. I said it
Right.
all the way through the election process. I believe that you would have had a damn good chance of beating Cynthia Neely, Michael Clack. That Neely and Clack name, that would have been like, oh, yep,
It's never too
man, I'm
late.
going with Clack.
You know,
I know
I
it's
don't wanna
never
put-
too
I don't
late.
wanna
It's
put
not.
the,
I'm right, but I'm just saying, like this last election,
There were some, there were some things, some complications that I ran into from previous elections that I had to take care of. There were some things that I thought they were cleaned up, but they weren't, but they are now. So, some stuff I learned at the last minute. So, it's all good.
I'm trying to be good. I'm gonna have you on the.
This
I'm
is
gonna have you
y'all's-
on the Shady Show.
Say what you gotta
I know.
say.
This is Trevor's. I'm gonna stick to the
I'm
script.
trying to be nice because I know when I get worked up, it really does cast a negative cloud.
That's
over
okay. I'm
things.
gonna have her back on the Shady Show. So
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, now when it comes to finances and when we can get Mr. Luna in here, then you're going to see some explosions, and not at anyone because these two are new. I can't yell at them for this budget. I can yell about the fucking budget, but not yell at them.
Mhm.
But speaking of state rep, I would be really happy to see you sitting across the aisle from me and say I get past a primary somehow. But if it were you versus me, I'd be really happy to see it because I'd know something had happened for the city.
Mhm.
Now, you're an educator. You run a nonprofit. You're on the school board. You've got a background to you that leads up to this, and that shows.
Let me stop you real quick. Because I do have a nonprofit that has been stagnant because of the school board thing. So I have not been able to,
Okay.
move in that direction for the nonprofit. Also,
How many people do you know is actually going to stop something when it's being said positively about them.
No, but
I
just,
love this guy's humility.
I just know that, if I were watching and and you were saying you got a nonprofit, I would go and try to, look it up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if I'm not active with it right now, just because I'm so busy doing this, even though the mission is to still go out with this nonprofit and do, work hard, but that's just kind of stagnant right now. But
Also, the last remaining Berryhill, aside from myself, just said, quote, Clack seems like a nice and well-rounded individual. For my brother to say some shit like that, you actually have to be a nice and well-rounded individual.
I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you, Kevin.
But no, I mean, it is. I'd be terrified to sit across the aisle from you.
Why?
I ain't been here. You've gone through a lot more. You've done a lot more. At the same time, I'd be really happy because I know
something get done.
I can do something. I know this man can do something. I'd say that's a win-win for Flint. However you vote.
Can I ask another question?
You can ask all the questions you want. I'm just gonna hit real cool. I'll hit some things after that. Go for it.
What happened with them damn clear backpacks? Now y'all got me all messed up with them clear backpacks. Now the backpacks. Now I've got sources say. Now I gotta have you back on the Shady Show because you got to ask some more questions for. The sources say that them backpacks was in the school. People was going around to collect them backpacks. Where them backpacks at, Mike?
I have no idea where they are.
You're the school board president. You got to know where the backpacks at.
Of course, but I don't deal with everyday operations either.
You've got the logistics, man.
We just approved or
Okay.
not.
Doesn't that sort of thing go through the administration? So through the
Probably the
superintendent?
superintendent and stuff.
Mhm.
Okay. So here's another question I got. Are we talking about the backpacks and approval, not approval? And we go back to this superintendent that's getting paid good money. When's the last time you had evaluation? When the last time y'all evaluated them teachers?
Hold up. We
Where did
can't
y'all
say
get all this
y'all.
information at?
When the last time y'all had a peer review on the school board? Okay, I have you on the Shady Show. I'm sorry. Okay, Trevor.
Well, we can't say y'all because
Okay.
it hasn't even come around to that time.
Wait a minute. You just whipped out two budgets, man. I can say y'all. Y'all, where y'all get all this information?
No, I'm telling her.
Oh, okay.
Can't say y'all to you. Now,
No, I will. Let me answer what I can answer. It is true. The backpacks were at the schools. They have been picked up. Where are they now? I don't know.
Okay.
I have no idea. I can say where I've heard that they were, but I'm not going to start, with rumors on here. I can just only speak with what I do know.
the incinerator.
I do know that they were at the schools. I've had a few teachers and parapros to text me, so I know that's true. They have been picked up, but I don't know where they are. What was the next question?
Review of the superintendent. When was the last time that he had
He
a?
has not been evaluated to this point.
Oh, I would love to have a 6-figure job and not be evaluated. Okay, next.
Well,
So when y'all gonna evaluate the teachers?
That's a conflict of interest for him because he is a teacher.
Yeah.
He
That's
can't
a good
evaluate
question.
himself.
So what about a peer-to-peer evaluation on the school board? Do you pass out the anonymous questionnaire and review each other on your strengths and weaknesses, or have the teachers come and talk to you? Y'all don't do none of that, do you?
No, not that I know.
You don't even ask the children what they think about the teachers, do y'all?
Mhm. I can't speak for everyone, but I have as certain situations, yeah, but not as a whole, no.
So let me.
Okay.
No, because you're hitting on some
Okay,
fun points here. You're gonna make me lose my train of thought.
I ain't gonna say that.
I'm gonna derail like I'm in Ohio. Okay.
I'll be quiet. I promise.
Now, so my kids, I always feel like the only time the schools care is testing or count day. Those are the only times that the school seems to care if my kid shows up or not. If my kid's fucking dead or not. If my kid's dead, they better be in that seat dead. What is the school board doing or pushing toward or dragging the administration, kicking and screaming to try to change that image? because I heard robocalls. You know what I do when I hear a robocall?
Don't answer.
Oh no, I pick it up. This is blank. I hear it's from the school. If it isn't something that is immediately pertinent, because I know when testing is, I don't need you to tell me. I know when count day is, I don't need you to tell me. What are you guys trying to do to change that? Because otherwise, I feel like I'm just a fucking piggy bank to you. I mean, has that even been actually discussed?
Yes, it has, but not enough to basically make a whole full statement on behalf of the board.
Okay.
I can speak on what I would like to see done, or I can speak on.
I'd like to hear that part.
Okay. There's some different ways that I think that we could deal with extensive absences, and one would be to eliminate out of school suspension for minor infractions, so to speak.
You make them suffer in school, like
Kind of, sort of, but not just say suffer, but just so they can't just be home not learning. You know what I
Right.
mean? So the caveat to that is, in order to have in-school suspension, it has to be a certified teacher in the classroom. You can't have a long-term sub or a substitute. So, how do we fix that need? Well, I think that we could find a few retired teachers out here that they're looking for something to do, that could sit in the classroom. So maybe eliminating out of school suspension for, I know that some things still are going to warrant suspensions,
Okay.
or expulsions, but minor stuff like absences, or some, I don't want to get into specifics, but I believe that would be one of the things. The robocalls, I agree with that. My answer to that would be an application, on your phone.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So most people don't want to go to a whole website to see. They'd rather hit an app on the phone, see what the updates are, see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Just
what about? Have you thought of anything to engender trust in the parents that the board can do? Because you as a teacher, you do everything you can. But when I feel that the only concern that the community schools themselves has about my kids is how much money my kid's going to bring in by being in a seat, I have no trust. I really feel used.
That was one of the things when our first board meeting, when I spoke at the end, that I said I would like, one of my tasks is to bring back trust from the community to the district. There is a lot of distrust amongst, from the city amongst the board members, or the board.
That's government in general around here.
Oh, right. And my only answer to that is to, I plan to be as transparent as possible. Outside of putting my telephone number out here, I can be reached. You can contact me. Tell me what it is that you like or don't like. More. I like criticism, constructive criticism. Don't cuss me out or nothing like that.
you like constructive criticism.
I do. I don't hang around yes men. I don't have, none of my friends are yes men.
You ready for the hard questions for people to get at you, right?
I mean, because look where we live. Look what we got to put up with. It's too much easy stuff.
We can look across the street and
Exactly.
see where that happens.
So it's time out for the fluffy. Like you said, it's time out. We got to move, and we don't have time, because if we don't move, we're not going to have a district anyway. We're not going to have a city administration anyway. So
I don't think we're gonna have a school district in 5 years.
Well,
the way that our attendance is dropping, you're fucking right. 66% in a decade. Give us another 5 years, and it'll be up to 99 at that trend.
But my answer to that would be, I'm huge with this early childhood. You know what I mean? Like, I'm huge with that. Not saying that we're gonna get it. Not saying, that's not saying that
It's the goal.
that is the goal. The goal is.
What about the other end of the spectrum? Continuing like adult
education?
Yeah.
That's we didn't get to that part yet, but that's another thing that, like, another aspect of, the whole community education thing. Like, we as a whole, the city of Flint, is reads at a 7th or 8th grade level. You know what I mean? Like, that's huge. That's a big thing. So you can't just stop with that. You know, GED programs and, you know, like all of that needs to be all in the same equation.
So when I first moved here, and this is something I haven't really talked about, my wife could not get a job. I could not get a job.
Mhm.
We had to go on assistance.
Mhm.
I eventually went back into the Army, and it was into the National Guard. I was so damn desperate.
Mhm.
My wife went into adult education program and got training for medical billing and insurance, or medical insurance billing, something like that.
Mhm.
And that is translated into a job that now pays her, I think after her most recent pay raise, like $16.50 an hour. And it doesn't even directly translate from the skills she learned. They just carry, like a few of them carried over.
Mhm.
That is a huge difference in our lifestyle. That is a huge difference to my children with a stable home without mom and dad worrying about paying bills
Mhm.
or worrying about, food on the table. So when I hear you talk about adult education, that's the stuff I'm thinking about. Not just a GED, but further in job skills.
Yeah.
Because that makes all the fucking difference in the world. You can increase a family's income, and then with that early education, mom or dad can go to work early day,
Yep.
bring in more money, and then pick up the child as the other one's coming in. Still get some family time together, but now it's a stable fucking household.
And the quality of life is completely different, you know, just
Mhm.
than what you had before. And that's what I'm not saying that everybody has to go to college. Like, you know, and I graduated in '98. And that was the focus. You got to go to college. Everybody,
That's still the focus.
but at the end of the day, not all the way around. I'm definitely an advocate for getting a trade because
Mhm.
I wasted a lot of time and money in college. I wasted a lot of time and money.
Well, let's.
So
Our students can't read, can't do math.
Mhm.
We don't hold them back anymore.
Mhm.
Holding a student back isn't a punishment. It is making sure they got the skills to
move on
continue
to the
on.
next level.
Do they even have summer school anymore?
I think we actually have a halfway robust summer school program here, right?
I'm not sure about Flint schools,
Yeah.
but there are some charter schools that do. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
There was
I'm not sure. I don't want to say yeah or nay on that.
How many kids graduated from Flint schools last year?
Graduated? We are at a
70 what?
76 or 7, I think.
50% to 54%, which is down from 59% over the past 5 years.
And here's the thing.
We can't even keep track of how many of our kids are graduating. It's between 50 and 54. We don't know.
Here's the thing. Howard has 100% graduation rate.
Yeah.
Grand Blanc has 99.7.
Mhm.
These kids are the same kids. So it's, these are the same kids.
Yeah.
Now, true enough, Howard does have a population that doesn't live in Flint, but these are the same kids. You know what I mean? Like they play basketball together. These are the same kids. So you can't tell me that they can't do it. Their focus is just something other than education.
And some kids do need help. I understand that,
Mhm.
which is why I'm a huge advocate of if you don't understand the curriculum, we hold you back. Because if we just promote you and promote you and promote you,
You don't learn.
you go to college, and what did you say you did in college? Wasted a lot of time
and money. But
now imagine you don't get the curriculum.
Mhm.
Imagine you were never prepared because no one actually made sure you understood it and you're just thrown into it.
Yeah.
We have a 10% proficiency rate reading and mathematics here. That's not even counting all the subsidiary subjects.
Right.
Like science. What do our kids know about science? About, natural science, astronomy, any of that.
Biology, how the body works, the different systems of the body, stuff like that is I can't say that that's really a focus, but then again, you got to look at there aren't that many certified teachers in this district, like, in those subjects. So, it's not just one issue. There are so many different issues that need to be addressed.
I mean,
when y'all gonna start addressing?
We got the.
Y'all need a vision board. Let the community see.
I have a vision board at home.
Put it but one for the community. Put it online. Let us know the stuff that you want to tackle, so we can see the vision with you. Because now all we see is a bunch of arguing you know, this side versus this side. Then you got the 0.5s in the middle. You got the superintendent scared to say anything. Y'all got all the officers at y'all meeting.
But
We
see,
can't
but
get
see,
saved out here in the streets.
But,
I mean,
but again, but you have to also see that you also brought up the fact that I wasn't supposed to even be here.
I know.
So there's a lot of different variables to these different, you know, situations that we have to address. So it's not just as easy as we go in there and sit down. And plus, we only have meetings that we don't have meetings, you know, every week. You know, we can only do certain things at certain times when we have meetings, and those things got to come out of subcommittees. And, you know, so again, if everything was perfect, if we were living in a perfect world, then we would be able to walk in and walk out in an hour, you know, 30 minutes or so.
Prince, pauper, doctor, and layman could all walk in there, come to an agreement, and be out.
So,
But here's a question. You say we need actual teachers. I did hear something about the staff of the Flint schools getting a $22,000 bonus off the ESSER funds.
Mhm.
Now, number one, is that all the staff? Does that include the custodians? Does that include, you know, our paper clerks and teachers, all that? Or is it just teachers? And could that money not have been used, at least set a chunk of it aside as a hiring bonus? Take I know this is going to sound stupid.
Don't say
It has to be said.
it.
Take a cue from the city of Flint government and have, I see those, no, don't get in
no,
trouble.
I'm just
But have a hiring bonus, a retention bonus for incoming teachers. And could you not do that? I think you still have one more payment of the ESSER funds coming in, correct?
it might already.
So could that not be allocated like that so we can get some actual teachers in here? Or is that just a pipe dream? Am I high right now?
You hide. Because listen, first of all, when y'all gonna stop the board from telling the people that these aren't for the public?
Well,
You know, put your damn foot down. Joyce,
that's-
shut the hell up. Quit telling the public that these funds are for them, because it's not. This what
She's pointing at me. I know I fucked up.
no,
No,
it was I had to say it in the email, so I didn't say it
Oh, you
like
said
that.
it. Okay,
But I did have
okay.
to, you know, I did.
he did it respectfully.
I did it respectfully, and it was definitely, you know, in a way that, you know, I was serious.
So again, the ESSER funds, we can't come to the school board meeting with the packet and the book and give it to y'all and get our program off the ground.
That's not what it's for.
Okay, it's not what it's for.
I mean, another deal with that.
But to address the $22,000, it was not just given in a $22,000 lump sum. It was 3
Disbursements.
disbursements of, I believe it was $7,500 or something like that.
Okay.
So it was, and I don't know if the custodians and everybody got. I think the administration got it. The teachers got it. The parapros, I know I'm not sure if they got 22. They didn't get 22,000.
Parapro?
Yeah, I don't think they.
What is?
I'm sorry.
What is parapro?
A paraprofessional is like a helper. You know, they deal with a particular student.
Okay.
So you know, they deal with a student that has whatever diagnosis or whatever they have, you know, and the parapro deals with them on a one-on-one basis.
Okay.
Or, you know, pretty much now I'm pretty much sure that they do more than just a one-on-one. You know, they probably do a lot of teacher assistants, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, I was
So
about to ask. So they're TAs.
yes, they basically
Specialized TAs.
Their job description is to do one thing, but just like all other, you know, teachers and everybody else that works in the district, they have to wear 2 or 3 different hats. So, you know.
Okay. So has it been brought up in any sort of way, hiring bonuses or retention bonuses to try to bring new blood in? Huh? There should be another disbursement of ESSER funds coming in that doesn't go toward that budget there that they can't use to pay their debt.
Southwestern been leaking since 1963.
I mean, speaking of,
Graduated. This ain't my show.
but no,
I'm sorry.
has that been brought up, or is once again is it a pipe dream?
It's we're no, I got you on that too. But there's you know, Melody Rutherford is huge on that, so that's her big thing. So she's big on, you know, on that, so that's her area of expertise. She's good.
What'd you say?
at that, right?
Good.
She was fighting people about the no, the hell she ain't good. Cause she lost me when she said, "Send the kids home with a slip, and we'll give them some popcorn when they come back."
Well,
this is not the future, but I'm gonna save it for the Shady Show. I'm
But
gonna let
wait, but that's I understand that too. But just one decision can't just turn you off from somebody. One.
Yes, it can.
She got a long time on the board.
I don't care.
Okay,
Damn, how many pages you got though?
just fine.
He whipped out 2 budgets, a page full of notes. I don't know what this is right
Right,
here.
and I'm getting on
This-
antsy.
Actually, speaking of, since I like playing with money, I'm kind of a greedy man that doesn't have any money. If you look at that budget there, can you tell us what Central is that takes 2,551,901 of your general dollars, 5,712,052 of your grant dollars, totaling for $8,263,953? Because if that's Central High, someone else is fucking high.
Whoa.
I mean that's meth. That's not even going to the dispensary. Someone's smoking crystal here.
I don't
Crystal
know.
meth.
I don't know. I don't know.
See.
That's a Dylan Luna, Treasurer Luna question. But
No,
I
I
did find that
You got Dylan
when I
coming
saw
on
that.
next week?
Yeah, we're gonna have to reschedule because that school board meeting down in or up,
Mount Morris.
he wants it for about the same time, and I'm kind of invested in that personally, and I believe you are too, and you.
Mhm.
So the three, I mean, he can come here if he wants. No one's gonna be here.
I won't.
I'm playing Mr.
I had
We'll
planned
figure
on
it out.
saying something and speaking, but I don't think I'm
I
gonna do
mean, just
that. Just
a
simply
show of
because
presence makes a huge
and
deal.
I think that I just think that it would be kind of weird if I go out there and tell somebody else school district how to act. And
Absolutely. I understand.
so
You got your hands full.
yeah, so I don't. I'll
The
go
only
support
reason
them.
I brought up Central,
Mhm.
even though you're not the treasurer and you haven't been there very long, you didn't pass his budget, is I'm seeing a sink of 8 million of my kids' fucking dollars
Mhm.
that isn't going toward my kids, as far as I can tell, for something as ambiguous as Central.
Well, we don't know exactly what Central is yet. So Central could be Central Administration. Central could be, it could be Central High School. It could be,
What you talking about? You don't know what Central is.
It literally,
it just says
that's
Central.
all it says in the budget, just Central. That's all it says.
You the school board president.
He's the
You're
school board
right.
president that hasn't gone through a budget yet.
Okay, I'm gonna
No,
Mike
no,
Clack.
no.
Mike Clack. I'm gonna ask you right here live on air. You gonna come on the Wyntis on the show?
Yeah.
Okay, because I got some questions.
Yes, but
The man is
a
about to be like our newest host as often as we keep
I
dragging him here.
I got some questions for him. I got some questions that I just can't get out, and it's making me just it's like-
Because I don't want to explode today.
okay,
I'm going to go home and go to sleep.
Well, that's good. That's good.
And if I get my blood pressure up, I'm going to go to sleep with a migraine and a bloody eye. Something's going to explode. We're not going to do that.
All right.
But I have to ask that because I've always been a fan of follow the money.
Mhm.
Where there's a problem, there is one of two issues that caused it: money or power, and those two are having sex. They're always entangled.
Sex, money, and power.
No,
money and power are having sex.
Yeah, money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was
so
like, that's a
there's
hell of a
always-
title
so
for the
when
school
I
board
see-
president.
When I see a massive amount like that, that looks like the biggest drain in your budget, period.
So
And
again,
there's
that's
no
why I don't want to
explanation
speculate.
into it.
That's why I don't want to speculate as to what it could be. So I did see that. I did see that again.
Yeah, I slid the paper over to you, and
No,
I saw
even
your
before
fingers
this-
stop there.
Even before this, because again, I wanted to be the treasurer before all this, the
Mhm.
whole thing, and it was because I had gone through a budget and I saw what I saw. I didn't like the athletics budget. I didn't like that. So of course, me not being an athlete, I was, that caught my eye.
Yeah,
But it played out this way. So
I mean, this is even better. Now you've got your fingers in all the pies.
right.
So, I mean, that just, it hits me there. And it's, what the hell? Our basic programs, we're throwing 21 million at our kids, and we're failing. We're throwing more money at our kids, and it seems like money doesn't fix an issue. Who would have known? You actually have to find the problem.
Mhm.
And the reason I'm saying this is because you as school board president, you as someone I trust, I know you're going to find the problem. and apply the proper pressure in the proper amount and not squander shit. At least that's what I feel.
That's the plan. That's the plan. And I'm just gonna say, it's almost like I do more investigating than actual, speaking of investigating, I was told by a senior board member that she had called the attorney general meeting, and I was going to be put under investigation.
That you were.
Yeah. So
Did she happen to say why?
She said that she wanted the board to be run correctly.
Run correctly.
And so, yeah. So again, you can see some of the hurdles that I have to jump over.
Now I have to turn around and go back to where we were and say, it's really looking like you got set up.
So again, these are some of the hurdles that I have to jump over that happen before we come to a board meeting. This is the behind the scenes. This is the, just my everyday something that I have to deal with.
Looking at that budget there, if I could get into the skivvies of it, if I can get into the deep and dirty,
mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure if the DOJ comes in, whether they're looking at you, they're going to look at everything.
Of course.
If there's some fuckery going on there, she kind of just she shot her own foot. I can't say the other thing.
Well, I didn't say who it was, but.
Look, the only people that have been giving you problems are females that I've seen.
Well,
it was Joyce McNeil. I'm tired of Joyce McNeil said that he was being investigated by the Attorney General. I came to the fluffiness. I came.
Okay.
It was Joyce McNeil, allegedly. Okay, allegedly it was Joyce McNeil.
No, I mean, she said it to me.
Okay, well, do you know who it is?
I mean, but either way, it really does look like you got set up that you're getting the raw end of the wrongest fucking deal right now. And yet I've seen nothing that you have done that we construed as wrong.
No.
You upheld a vote from prior council.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like that's what she's bitchy about. That Dr. Green is getting the same treatment as per the board's own fucking standards.
Well, here's the thing and I'm starting to find out a lot of information that wasn't given to us.
From the prior board or prior administration.
Yeah. So, me, like yourself, I get information and I make my own conclusions. I come to my own conclusions. Someone could tell me something, and I still would want to find out my own information. Find out my own. Come to my own conclusion. There's a lot of information that has been left out, misleading to us, even lied about. So and I'm not an investigator, I'm not a prosecutor, I'm not an attorney, I'm none of that. I'm just happy to be
You're a man that has a brain and likes to use it. Okay.
Right. But there are certain situations that would make the board become more liable legally, or open to lawsuit. Certain things that have happened in the past.
Like leaving all of these demolished schools open where kids go and play and they could go in there and fall and kill themselves, and y'all won't get rid of the schools.
That too.
All right. So if you did not treat Dr. Green equally, mm-hmm. and you left yourself open for a lawsuit there, mm-hmm. Number one, how much did you guys end up paying in legal fees, if you can say?
For her?
For her.
Around $6,000.
Around $6,000. If she were to sue you, how much would she be taken away?
Who knows? There's going to be more
Probably
than $6,000 in legal fees just to go to court, and then whatever the district settles, that's going to be another large amount. But here's the thing. So there's another board member that had legal fees paid as well.
Northwestern is the kitchen. Go ahead.
Or who? Is it the?
It was the person who was and also involved in
Laura McIntyre.
So what I heard about that, and this is from people that were there, mm-hmm. is Laura actually instigated and started it.
Oh, we wasn't there.
But she ended up taking an ass whooping and crying about it. I mean, who starts a fight and then cries about it?
I don't know if she took an ass whipping, because we can't say that.
Now, however, she did say all this on the record with concussion, so she could just be,
No,
you know,
I'm not saying
hallucinating.
Danielle Green, DG to the day I die. Danielle didn't touch that lady. She had mascara up underneath her that was running when she came back to that board meeting. If you had a concussion, first of all, you can't be driving.
You shouldn't be.
Okay, you're supposed to be monitored somewhere in the hospital, whatever. And during this time, when she so-called went wherever she went to go seek treatment at, the hospitals were full of COVID patients. So it's no way that she could have walked into the ED, been seen, and made it back out to a board meeting later on that evening. I'm just going by what I know. And what doctor is going to release you if you've been beating the head so bad? Okay. And then we're going to go to Prosecutor David Layton. He said he read the medical records. He didn't find nothing in there. So then it went back across the street where Attorney Kim charged Danielle Green.
Mhm.
I'm just saying, I had to get that up. Sorry.
No,
I'll
that's
go back to y'all.
no, that's what happened. But
So
From
you
what I-
did say outright lies. You did say misinterpretation, and you did say people ran away with imaginations. Or am I just imagining that? But it's true.
well, from what I gathered,
Yeah, Tony, we're gonna ask
There's
that
a-
on
there-
Thursday.
there's one legal fee was $6,000. Another legal fee was $9,000. So at the end of the day, my rationale was if we don't pay these fees and she sues,
Yeah.
what if she sues for discrimination? What if she sues because we paid this white woman's fees and we didn't pay her fees because she's black? So what if I'm thinking all of this. So at the end of the day, why not just pay the $6,000 and get it out the way?
So I don't understand why that woman is so upset unless she's just that petty.
I don't know, and I don't really like to speculate,
No,
but from
I mean,
what I
That's
can
what it feels
gather,
like here.
it seems like one side has been allowed to do whatever they wanted to do, and one party, not one side, one party has been able to do whatever they wanted to do, and another party had to kind of go with that. And if it didn't happen the way that that particular party or side wanted to go, then there were issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure what the whole legal fee thing had to do with this party over here and why they got so upset. I don't know. All I know was the reason why I voted in favor to pay her fees was because, for one, it's unfair. Now, true enough, and see, I could even go deeper than that and say that because I watch all of the meetings.
Mhm.
I do my research.
I mean, you don't want to jump into a shark pool without knowing what sharks are in there.
And certain things. See, I got a notebook over here too.
Yeah.
And I watch and I take notes, and even I even take timestamps so I can go back to a specific video and reference what I want to know or reference the information that I'm trying to get out. So there was a meeting. An emergency meeting, the day that the incident happened, and I was watching this meeting and listening to this meeting. And during this meeting, a board member stood and said, "We talked about this amongst ourselves, and we knew it was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen. We didn't know how or when, but we knew." And to me, how did you know that Dr. Green was going to commit this act?
Nobody in Flint knew that. Everybody that I have talked to, everybody in Flint that knows Danielle Green has said the same thing consistently. Danielle don't go off.
Right. But again, how would you know?
Because you knew you was going to push her. You was gonna keep antagonizing her.
There you go.
You was gonna keep talking about her child and her grandbaby. See, this is all the stuff that's happening behind the scenes that people not put out there.
And that's why I didn't say certain things. When you asked the question about stuff, and I said, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that people don't know. When all the public sees is what is presented at that board meeting.
Absolutely.
You don't see the behind the scenes and the emails and the text messages and the private conversations or one-on-one conversations.
Or the people changing their stories. Pastor Gilbert, I seen it. Oh Lord, no, I ain't seen that.
Well, so again, you don't see all of that stuff. You know what I mean? So even me, before I got on the board, I'm like, why they can't just do this? But you don't see the behind the scenes. You don't see the regular Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. You just see second and third, Wednesday of the month.
Monday morning quarterback, basically.
Right.
All right. I've got one last thing to sum this up. Obviously, because you just said you'll be there. The Mount Morris incident.
Mhm.
There's obviously a difference in our school system and theirs, especially in the makeup.
Demographics and everything.
I mean, we're looking at the makeup from race. We're looking at income. We're looking at everything.
Everything. Demographics, socioeconomic status, everything is
So,
different.
do you think that could have happened here in Flint? And what would your reaction as the school board president be had that sort of thing happened here? Would the student be looked at harsher, or would there be an overall view of look at it neutrally and then see what is or isn't warranted? And then from there, because we know it wasn't warranted.
I can say, me as a regular citizen,
Okay. Oh, that's good enough.
me as a citizen, that particular situation that made me, very upset. I don't know.
That's a nice way of saying
I
it hit
can't
you in the
say,
feels.
yeah, I can't say, because again, I've been doing this, working with kids in the school districts for 19 years, whether it be Virginia Beach or Houston or
Have you
Norfolk.
ever had to lay hands on a child like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the child laid hands on me first. You know what I mean? Like, I've been attacked by a student, and so
it wasn't
yeah.
you just out of nowhere trying to restrain a child.
No.
So you were attacked. Okay, that is completely different to what we saw.
Yeah, no, I've been, one particular time, one kid smacked me in the face and took off running down the hall.
Damn, you chased him, didn't you?
Yeah, I chased him.
Yeah, Damien said to tell my dog, Clack, what's up? Yeah.
He thought he made about 6 steps, and I hit like a lion on the gazelle. I'm not even gonna hold you up. But at the end of the day, I'm human. You know what I mean? If somebody slapped you in the face, and
You're supposed to turn the other cheek.
You're supposed to.
That's what Pastor Hill said.
You're supposed to, but the Bible also say an eye for an eye.
Different testaments, but he's right.
The Bible also says, be the bigger person. But when you caught off guard in your own element, you know what I'm saying? It's not like you expecting it. You ain't boxing, you ain't fighting, you ain't supposed to get hit. So when something like that happens, it's like,
Damn, did this kid get
yeah. And then it's like, wait a minute now.
Right.
Now you're not a kid. Now you're an honorary adult, and I'm gonna show you. But you snap back into reality. But yes, it has happened. It has happened. I've had kids tell me, Mr. Clack, I'm gonna whoop your ass, and it's like, what?
But they mean it though.
No, I've had kids tell me that they're gonna shoot me.
Oh wow!
So
That's why y'all let them clear backpacks.
So
that's weird. But I look at you. I've seen you in the summer when you're not trying to keep warm and you can actually see your arms. A kid looking at you saying, "I'm gonna beat your ass."
But then again, you still got to put in the context. I don't walk around like I'm cool, Mr. Clack. Like they might.
I see that, but your arms are as big as my thighs.
But
did this children wear glasses the size of Coke bottles, man?
No.
Holy
but
shit.
These are just situations that have happened over the years.
Okay. So, but you saw that kid. You heard him yelling,
mm-hmm.
and you've already said it made you feel. It hit you in the feels.
That could not happen and come in front of the board as I'm the president. That could not happen. I mean, you could not tell me an excuse good enough that would make me believe that this was warranted. This act that we all saw.
I mean, How many
Especially from the
adult men
story
do
I
we
got.
see?
4, but the story I got was he walked away from a fight. You know, he was trying to get away from some kids that were trying to fight him. That's the story I got. And he went into the gym, right, and tried to walk some
Just
laps
tried
to
to
calm
cool it
down.
off.
But like I said, I don't care if the boy was fighting. I'm not saying that he helped carry the cross
Of course,
Calvary.
of course.
Maybe he did do some shit, but it was no reason for him to get dragged down to that office like they was taking a slave off the slave ship.
Right, and also 180-day expulsion for he and the young lady for recording it.
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
Yeah.
There were no weapons. Nobody jumped anybody. Nobody was. Did a fight even occur?
No, and it's like they repeatedly picked on this guy. He
Of
was
course.
told several times, "Why don't you just go back to beat you?"
I mean, last week, one of the things this young man told me from his own mouth was a young white kid, walked into the room, flipped out the lights,
And said, "I don't see no niggas."
Yeah.
Again.
And how, I'm not a bleeding heart. I'm really not. But that young man had every reason in the world to snap.
Mhm.
Goodbye, Wyntis.
Right. I was trying to sneak out.
Had every reason in the world to snap. And instead, he kept his shit together for how long with that harassment, with that abuse?
I don't know, but at the end of the day, he's better than me.
The shit that I saw, the paperwork that his mom, and his pop brought me, that was months of targeted harassment and abuse.
Mhm.
That young man is a far better person than me because, like I said, if someone calls me a baby killer, I'm choosing option C. Someone, I don't understand how that young man had the patience, fortitude, and foresight.
Especially to be in that age group and everything is just.
Oh yeah, hormones, man.
Yeah, so.
I think that's gonna finish this up. Do you have any parting words? Do you have any wisdom for us?
All I have to say is just watch us work. We have. No, I'll speak on my behalf because
Okay.
I'll speak on my behalf. I have the scholars are what I'm focused on.
Mhm.
Again, this is we're supposed to be a team. There's no I in team, but there is an I in Flint. There's an I in kid. There's an I in child. You know what I mean? So it's a team effort, but I can only do what I can do. You know what I mean? I can steer us in the right direction or the direction that I think is the right direction. And I'm driven by the scholars. That's my focus. That is my focus. It's not, I don't have any interest over here, or I don't have any favors over here, or nothing like that. That's not why I'm here. So this is pretty much me just being genuine. I'm here for the district, for the city. That's it.
I thank you for your time today. I can't wait to get you, Mr. Luna, and the superintendent all at one table when we can find a time that doesn't interfere with prior commitments. That you guys, I know you work your ass off as a teacher. I know Mr. Luna works his ass off, and the superintendent, whether I agree with his salary or not, he's still earning a decent chunk of it. So you guys are all working your asses off. I'm always available. I can't wait to get a hold of you off the camera and try to work something out between the four of us so we can sit down and have a genuine, honest discussion about, the other side, other people's perspectives of the board, of the school, and then start maybe pointing some fingers at some parts of the budget that Mr. Luna could start padding out for us so we can actually see where things are going.
Yeah. No, I'm ready.
All right.
I work whenever.
I think that'll do us for today, Mr. Mickey.